And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at a little two-player game called Guile. Now, I hadn't heard much of this game. In fact, someone walked up to me and handed it to me at a convention. It's from Terra Nova Games. And it says a medieval memory game. And I was like, oh, a medieval memory game. Because memory isn't necessarily a mechanism that I look at in the game and I'm like, woo, memory. Now, I don't dislike it per se, but I was going, it's a two-player game, so I thought we'd give it a shot, and let's take a look and see what we think. One player is given 4 characters: Ector, Bedivere, Sir Galahad, and Sir Tristan. These are the good guys, I guess. And then you have Sir Kay, Sir Lancelot, Palomides, and Gawain. These guys are the pawns of Morgan or whatever, I don't know. What you're going to basically do is you're going to put these guys in a circle, alternating who is in which spot. Okay, for the basic game, doesn't matter which character is where, as long as you have them in different spots like this. You're going to have a deck of influence cards that are numbered from 1 to 4. And there's 1 3 that has a dagger in it and 1 4 that has a dagger. The rest are 1 2s, 3s, and 4s. In fact, there's 3 1s, 3 2s, 2 3s, and 2 4s. Each player is going to be dealt a hand of 4 of these cards. You then are going to look at the 4 cards that you were given. You're going to keep one, pass the other 3 to the other person. He will keep one of those 3, pass them back to you. And both players will do this until players have 4 cards each. Once you have your 4 cards, you're going to place those 4 cards on top of the different people out there. You can place them on any person that you want, like this. Then we're going to put this card here in the middle, this sword card, and it's going to be facing the starting player. So let's say, in this instance, Sir Gawain will go first. We'll put the shield card on the outside. And whoever controls the blue team will go first. Now, what they are going to do on their turn is one of 2 things. They can either secretly look at the card, which if you do on the first turn is kind of crazy, because you already know what it is, although maybe that's all you want to do. So you can either look at the card, and then it passes to the next person who can also look at their card, or you can, without looking, switch a card with another player, another character on the board, and then the card passes to the next person. And we keep doing that. Each person, whoever controls them, can either switch their card with someone else, or they can look at the card. Once this gets back to the starting player, we flip the sword down to the side with coins. That basically just means we're going to go around one more time. Same thing. Look at the card and switch. Once it comes all the way back to the beginning player, play stops, and we reveal all the cards on the different characters. So what we'll do at this point is we are going to add the influence for each team. So blue has 4, 7, 10, 11. Brown has 2, 4, 8, 9. Blue is the winner. If there's a tie, the person with the single highest card wins the tie. If both players have the single highest card, then the one with the dagger wins. So you can see if both players had a 4 and it was a tie, this 4 would win. So the dagger cards are slightly better than the other cards. Now players are going to play till someone has won twice. You'll do the same thing over again. Now you can add a couple variants to the game. There are 3 other cards that can be added. And you can see them here, different characters from the lore, Morgana, Merlin, etc. And each of them can be shuffled into the influence cards and dealt out. And they do different things. Morgana basically makes the influence card to the left of her, counterclockwise to her, makes it worth 0. Merlin is the value of the card across from him. So if there's a 4 across from Merlin, he's a 4. If there's a 1, he's a 1. If it's a face card, then he's a 0. And this young lady here, whose name I will not pronounce because I'm afraid I will mispronounce it, she is worth 0 unless she is with Tristan or Palomides. So if she's with one of those 2, she then is equal to the value of your highest card. Now I do wish they had put like a star on both of those so you can remember, because not everyone is intimately familiar with Arthurian legends and knows that Tristan and Isolde have this, everlasting love. But so that would have helped. So those are things. You can also play a variant where there's no drafting at all. You just draw 4 cards and start the game from there. But that's how you play. Now, I love the Arthurian Legends, although, to be fair, there's not a whole lot of that in this game. It's a 2-player. If I was describing this to someone, I would say this is a memory/deduction game, or maybe even bluffing game, because that's how the game works. There are times where I'll look at I'll say, I'm going to look at the card. You say, why would you look at the card? Maybe if you look at a card the first time, you already know what it is. If you look at it, unless someone's changed it, and if you look at the second time, it's too late to change it. You're right. So when you look at a card, you are essentially telling your opponent either A, I don't remember where any of the cards are, which is very valid. You'd be surprised at how in 2 passes you forget everything. Or B, this is a 3 or 4 and I'm pretty content with leaving it there. Of course, we call it, this is the Vizzini effect, where I know that's a 1 and I know you think that I know it's a 4, so you'll switch with it later on. But I knew that you knew that I would think that, so I looked at a 4 thinking that you would. Okay, so anyhow, so there's some back and forth there. I think the game is exceptionally better with the special characters, much better. In fact, I would have preferred there had been like 8 different special characters, and of course you pick like 3 of them to use in a game or something. That there was different kinds of characters, because like Merlin being equal to the one across from him, that made positioning that much more important. Because when you exchange 2 cards, you're allowed to exchange 2 of your own even. Well, most of the time that doesn't affect anything at all. It only affects things when the special cards come into play, because you want to get the 1 card on top of, you want to get the true lovers together. You want to get Merlin across from a card that's worthwhile, and you want to get Morgana next to a card that's worth a lot that she can make into 0. So it's very interesting in that regard. Now, there's a big difference between drafting and non-drafting. And the rules say non-drafting is harder, which is true, because you have 4 cards and you have no idea what your opponent's 4 cards are. If you draft, you have no idea what one of his cards are, but you know what the other 3 are. I think I prefer it with drafting, because I think a little bit of knowledge helps. When you go into it kind of just straight up blind, it's fun and you turn everything over and there's big surprises, but I think I like a little bit of action. If you couldn't tell by this point, I do like this game. I'm actually talking about it a little longer than the game takes. I think the game is very well done. There's some minor things I would change, like more special cards, starring the 2 characters who the 1 card matches, etc. But it works really well. I read the rules, and I'll be honest, I thought, I don't know. I mean, look at a card or switch it, that's all. But this is another one of those small card games that really packs a punch. Now, disadvantage is it's a small card game that's 2-player only, but if you have 2 players and you want to play a little bit of memory, and believe me, I memorized my 4 cards and then lost track of where they are really quickly, but also just trying to outbluff your opponent is a lot of fun. It's a cool idea, and while the theme doesn't really add anything to the game, it certainly is a theme I enjoy. So anyway, I recommend this one, Guile.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!